Back on the show. This feels like deja vu a little bit. I'm speaking once again with Jeremy Kennedy. He's going to be taking on Alexander Volkanovski coming up here at UFC 221 on February 10th. Jeremy, what's going on? How are you?
Not too much, man. It's good to be on the show again.
Yeah, and I was talking about how this is deja vu because I swear we did an interview, back in August that was also about you fighting Alexander Volkanovski, but unfortunately that fight didn't happen. For those who don't know, I know there's a couple, reports out there that weren't exactly accurate. What exactly happened? Why did you pull out of that fight? I know it was an injury, but what was the injury specifically?
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool that it's pretty much the exact same fight. It's now instead of a fight night, it's a pay-per-view card, and hopefully it's still main card, and and he's now 3-0 in the UFC, and I'm 3-0 in the UFC, so it's pretty much his stock just went up a little bit, so it's kind of probably a blessing in disguise. As for the injury, it was actually a bulged disc in my neck, and I sprained some facet joints, and so it was like a nerve damage that would shoot down my arm, so I couldn't grapple for. It was close to 2 months. Like we knew about the Alex fight for, I want to say 14 weeks. So like it was a really long time out. And so that's why I was like, okay, I'm injured now, but I was training around it. I could do conditioning and, hit pads a little bit. So I was doing that the whole time, hoping it was going to get better. And then around like the 8 or 7 week mark, I was like, okay, it wasn't getting better at all. Like all my doctors and everybody were thinking like, were telling me all along that it should be okay by then. But, I mean, it was 6 weeks in, and I hadn't grappled in 6 weeks. I hadn't, touched the mats, and I was like, okay, now maybe if it's one more week, I'll still have 6 weeks left to train. But then, it was just getting too much of a gambling thing, and I was doing my camp in Vegas, so I was going to have to bring everybody out there. And a nerve pain is not something you can train through. I tried, but it's that feels like electrocution. No, it's like a shock down my arm, and it would just shut my whole arm off. And it was a pretty serious thing. And dealing with the neck itself, I was like, I don't want to make it worse and, have a long-term problem or something like that. So, I mean, we had to make the choice to pull out of the fight, which was brutal because it was such a long time out that it felt like I had a full camp, right? But, yeah, it's the name of the game. And, but a lot of the reports were coming out like it was a back injury. I don't know. I guess maybe the confusion through my manager where I said it was a disc problem. A lot of people just associate disc problems with back. I have no idea, but that's everything I read online was saying a back problem, but that wasn't the case. It was a neck. So
yeah, and neck a little bit more serious. I mean, I guess they're both pretty serious, but neck one for sure. Because that's a lot of your movement and everything like that.
Yeah.
Now, as far as, being online and stuff, I saw all these people, tweeting at you saying, you pulled out of the fight. Like, how do you deal with the trolls that are coming after you when an injury like this happens? You just ignore them? How do you go about it?
Yeah, it's tough because, this is my life. This is my career. So they're always going to be a part of it. But the way I look at it is like, I click on them and I go into them and they've got 3 followers and they're from Australia. I don't take them too serious.
Right.
It's like you're just Alex. You're Alex's little troll dummy. So who cares? It doesn't really bug me too much. It's the name of the game. It's injuries, and even Alex saying if I fight a higher up opponent, I won't get these pullouts. And the next day, Frank Edgar pulled out of the title fight in our own division. So it's like, man, injuries happen to anybody. And it's just, you don't want to be the guy going on record saying that, because now what happens if he does get injured this camp? How silly does he look? So it's like, you think I'm scared of you? There's not. I've been trying to call you out for the last 3 weeks trying to make this thing happen. I was doing everything, so that's not the case at all. Injuries happen. We're in a contact sport and we're training. You should be training 2 times minimum a week. I mean, a day for 6 days a week. So it's, the room for error is there, so it's like you just got to take care of your body, and it's just luck of the game. Freak accidents happen.
Yeah, and how are you feeling now? Like as of the time we're recording this, which I always get my dates mixed up. It's December 20th. How are you feeling today?
I'm good, man. It sucked because about so when I pulled out of the fight, I would say I was down for another month, but that still left us 4 weeks to the fight. So I was. Okay. But I was still good to go. But I was like, I wouldn't have had enough time. I mean, even if the fight got bumped back to like December in Winnipeg, like that December 16th, I could have realistically been ready for that. But this is perfect timing. At the end of the day, now I got a full camp, 8 weeks out. We're good to go. I've been training properly for a few months now. I'm ready to go. So I'm fresh. It's the same fight as I had before. It's in Australia. It's in a different part of Australia, and it's a bigger card. That's all I look at it.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. Now, as far as your training camp, we know about this fight now. The fight's coming up on the 10th. What's sort of the strategy going forward as far as the training camp goes? Because I know we talked last time about doing a super camp. Is there any plans to do that again?
Yeah, I'm like I said, this is the exact same fight. I'm pretending that these 2 months in between were just
nothing. Yeah, you're just shifting
nothing.
everything.
Yeah, shifted everything. So everybody I reached out to before, I've been reaching out to again. I've been talking to TJ. I think he's going to come down. His fight's
in February, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks after mine or a week after mine. So he can't do a lot as long as I would like to. But he'll be out for a few weeks. Talk to Swain again. He can do a few weeks. Talking to Cole. Talking to all these guys again. So and I have the time. So we're looking to go out early January, probably January 2nd. So I have these 2 weeks to really get everybody, who's coming down. And I've been talking to Dennis Davis from Extreme Couture, and I have Pat Holder and Gil Martinez, who does the boxing. I really liked his work when I went down there. I felt awesome. I only got to work with him one time, but I'm excited to be able to do, multiple sessions with him. And Hector Vasquez, his jiu-jitsu gym out there. So, yeah, I mean, even if I don't have a big crew with me the whole time, I'll be having a great camp. I've got places to go, and I've networked enough where I feel like Vegas is my second home, and I'm looking forward to doing all my camps down there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a smart idea. And I know Tim Elliott's another guy I know who, left Missouri and, lives in Vegas now and using the Performance Institute. I mean, there's definitely a lot of benefits to doing what you're doing. Now, as far as, the Christmas season, it's coming up here pretty soon. Do you get to enjoy that at all? Or do you have to kind of really be strict on the diet? Like, how does that work?
Just real quick about the Vegas thing. Yeah, Tim, I like his idea. And Joe Benavidez, when I've been down in Vegas the few times at the Performance Institute, he did the same thing. He bounced from Alpha Male, and I think he went to Denver, and then he's in Vegas now. I mean, yeah, he's dealing with an injury, but he even said when he's done, that's what he's going to do. So I just like the idea because there's so many resources in Vegas that you have the Performance Institute as like your home, and then you can get all these different things everywhere, and everything's not too far away. So drive down, same thing. I have my vehicle, and that's going to be home. What was your second question?
I was asking you what you're doing for Christmas. I mean, do you get to enjoy it at all, or do you have to kind of cut back with the fight coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go crazy on anything. My weight is actually probably the lightest I've ever been this far out. I'm right on track. I can have a good Christmas dinner, and training is just. I don't think it'll be too much of a battle to get the bodies in the gym, but I mean, I'll probably take Christmas Day off, and that'll be my day off for the week. But I'm just gonna, steamroll right through the holidays and train like I got to fight, and diet like I do. But I'll have the one day where I eat good and take the day off.
A lot's changed since you last fought. One of the things that's really been kind of different is, the Canadian fighters in the UFC. There's been, a lot of changeover. I mean, we saw Misha Serkinov lose last week. I think it's safe to say he's not, the big hype that we once thought he was. Elias Theodoro's lost a couple fights here and there. I know he won his last one, but are you feeling that pressure of, sort of being the next guy? I think you and Hakeem Dawada, who just signed with the UFC, I think those are, sort of the two guys right now. If you look at the UFC, as far as Canadian fighters as being sort of the next big thing, do you feel that pressure, or do you kind of embrace that?
Yeah, because I guess Gavin lost too.
That's right.
And,
yeah.
I don't know what Oliver Aubin Mercier.
Yeah, he's coming off a win. Actually, he beat Tony Martin, but Olivier's lost. I'm kind of looking at sort of the undefeated guys. Like you and Hakeem are the only undefeated guys right now, so it's interesting.
No, I think Hakeem's got a little bit of work to do just because he hasn't even fought in the UFC yet. But he's dangerous and he's fun to watch. I can see him being a star for sure. I don't really feel the pressure. I know my capabilities, and I like having that kind of backing. I just hope Canada can start backing me in that way too. And be I'm the next guy. I can be their guy. And proving it by going to all these different countries and beating the hometown kids, and then hopefully after that I can start getting my own hometown fights. So I don't feel any pressure on it. I enjoy it. I like it. I like that the country kind of looks at me as that way, like, hey, this is our kid. He's our come up. He's young, undefeated, and I want to keep proving that right and keep on the right track, stay undefeated. And I'm more worried about the featherweight rankings. By the end of next year, I want to be ranked in the top 15 for sure. And I think even a win over Alex could do that. We're both 3-0. By that point, I'll be 4-0 in the UFC, and Alex is no slouch. So I'm hoping this can get me in that top 15 spot, and then after that, I just nothing but up.
What's on the Netflix docket these days? We always got to swap stories as far as what you're watching. What's on the docket right now?
I've got 3 that I kind of, depending on my mood, I go through. I got Shameless, which is just like if I don't really want to pay attention to anything and I'm just kind of watching it while I'm messing around on my phone, I watch Shameless because I've got a bunch of seasons left on that. I've got Stranger Things. I've been working on that 2nd season. And what was the 3rd one I had? Oh, Riverdale. I saw the new season. I've watched 1 episode of it, but that's
it. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you had me at Shameless. Shameless is a great show, so I
Shameless. And Stranger Things, I don't know. I'm starting to really like it, man. It's got me.
I have to get into it. What happened was my wife and I watched the first season, or like a little bit of the first season, and then we kind of fell off, and then she started watching it on her own, and now she's all the way into season 2. So I have to watch it on my own basically now because I'm all I don't know what's going on now, so I got to get on it. But as always, man, it's a pleasure talking to you. I appreciate it. We'll definitely do a part 2 of this closer to fight time and see how the camp went in Vegas and all that stuff. So, I appreciate the time, man. Just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. Pretty much business as usual. It's Jeremy Kennedy 145 on Instagram. That's pretty much where all the content is. Main sponsors always Hangry Health Bar in Guildford here, and Active Body and Pin Meadows. Those are the 2 guys that support me year round and fuel me, feed me. So I always got to give them a shout out.